You are watching this video because you see me perform my newest song, Watch It Work Itself Out. If you haven't seen me perform that song, there's a link below. You can check it out. You can also see the lyrics as well. So I always make a video to accompany each video explaining why I wrote the song. This one is the 12th and final one of the year 2024. Every year I make a point to write a minimum of 12 songs that I put on my YouTube channel. I think it's important because for me, I can look back on that year and think, not that I literally do one for actual each month. Like for example, this is November and I've done 3, but I like this idea that for each month of the year, we can match it up to a song that ultimately would kind of explain, well, what was I going through in that particular year? 12 different perspectives of the year. And so here's the final one of this year. And then I already have written like 5 songs for next year. What's funny is most of the songs that I've written, that I've put on my channel this year, I wrote at the end of last year. So I guess a lot of times what did I learn from this year? Well, you'll learn it more so in 2025. This song is called Watch It Work Itself Out. And this is unique. I have to always have challenges for myself. And I had watched a YouTube video about a year ago, and it was talking about songs that basically only had songs that only had 2 chords. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Like one that they mentioned was Nirvana, Something in the Way. That's a standout song from, I believe, their Nevermind album. And I never realized that was only 2 chords. And like there's a song, Feeling All Right, by the band Traffic in like 1969. Like that's only 2 chords. That's amazing. So I thought, well, I want to put a challenge on myself. What if I were to write a song that was literally just the same 2 chords back and forth? Can I do it? Can this song be interesting? Can it be dynamic? Can I trick people into not realizing that it's only the same 2 chords back and forth? So there was this one kind of augmented F chord, I guess. Thought, oh, that sounds really good. And then next to the C, I'm like, oh, that would make a good intro for a song. So I had it in the back of my mind for a couple of years. This could be a good song. And then I realized, but if I match it with the same power chords, which is what I do, I'm doing this F and this C, but what if I do it and then match it with the power chords where it sounds different? So ultimately the chorus and the intro is just the actual chords, and then the power chords are the verses. And so ultimately this song is going to kind of match back to the first song I did of this year where, there's no need to worry because it all works out. And that was kind of the song was called Just Passing Through. I did that earlier this year. So here's just 2 chords, F and C back and forth. Watch it work itself out. Here we go. Quite the conundrum, a perilous paradox, which by the way, as I write songs, yes, it's important to rhyme, but also alliteration is very important to me. So we've got quite the conundrum, a perilous paradox. Already opened up Pandora's box. So there it actually is the rhyme. But here I am opening the song by saying, yeah, this big scary thing just happened. So that's how we're starting out the song. But then I say, watch it work itself out. Watch it work itself out. No, I'm not worried. This isn't how we go. We make it to the sequel, a future to behold. Watch it work itself out. Watch it work itself out. Of course, what inspired that line about this isn't how we go? I guess one of my favorite movies is Big Fish. And one of the main characters, as a child, he sees how he's going to die. So that he ultimately knows that whatever happens, if it's not the thing that kills him, he's going to get through it. And I just really like that line, so I put that in here. And I think it's relevant to this concept of watch it work itself out. Another saying I had heard before was, these things have a way of working themselves out. That was ultimately the inspiration I was going to write this song, but watch it work itself out fit better for the cadence of the song. And again, alliteration, watch it work itself out. So the chorus, hold your breath, hold my hand. And here's what I'm picturing, like me and this other person, like whatever we're going through, we're like jumping off a cliff into water. Like, hold your breath, hold my hand, here we go. Watch it work itself out. If love always wins and hope expands, watch it work itself out. So yeah, I do believe that, yeah, love always wins. And my wife, one of her favorite movies is Hope Floats. So that's kind of what inspired this, because we had just watched that again. So I thought, oh, that rhymes with hand, expand hand. Okay, there we go. And then the second verse, happily ever after is a relative phase, or relative phrase. What tends to matter is how you live day to day. So that's something I've been aware of for a while, and I thought, I intended for that to be its own song about how happily ever after doesn't really exist. It's just, where do you, like any movie, for example, it ends well, yeah, but eventually people of their family die, and no, if it's a romantic thing and they end up in the end, one of them dies eventually, and then the other's left alone. Like, it gets pretty morbid and dark if you just go past the happy ending. So happily ever after, it's a relative phrase. What tends to matter is how you live day to day. If we were to look at each day, where's that happiness that we can find in that day? Watch it work itself out. Watch it work itself out. And then the last part of the song, in the second verse, I don't believe in nothing. My faith isn't that strong. I believe in something even if I am wrong. Watch it work itself out. Watch it work itself out. And so for me, that's more of one of the ongoing themes in so many of my songs over the years, is this attempt for me to be at peace with how the world works. And even the most recent song that I just did, called Astronomy, talks about this, that as far as tying together meaning in life and assigning that to God put us here. What's my purpose? Despite it not being clear cut what my purpose is, but God gave us our abilities and our talents and our ability to reason. So we've got to figure it out. And I think I'd said before recently that the life motto that my wife and I have coined together since moving here to Alabama this year is give life meaning and create beautiful experiences. So I feel like that's another part of that, what I had just said. Like, I don't believe in nothing. There are atheists, there are agnostics who are, I guess, comfortable living in that space of them not assigning any of this to God or not knowing. And I'm saying I don't have the amount of faith it would take to not believe that God is behind all of this and that God's given us purpose and reason, etc. So that's why I say I don't believe in nothing. My faith's not that strong. Instead, I do believe in something, even if I'm wrong. And I am comfortable living in that space of knowing that, well, my Christian faith in the end, if I'm wrong, I guess what's the worst that can happen, right? I've still lived a good life. I've lived a life of faith, and I've lived a life that I feel comfortable with, and lived by a moral code that has led my life and my family in a good place. So even that works itself out. Even if I'm wrong, I'd rather believe in something than to believe in nothing, because in the end, I do believe all of this works itself out. So, the saying, everything, it's going to be okay. That's another version of this. And of course, I am Enneagram 9. I am about having inner peace. And I think that's something that I can bring to the table in social settings, is when people are worried, I can remind them ultimately, hey, watch it work itself out. We do our part, but worrying doesn't help us get to that conclusion. And at the beginning of the year, my song, Just Passing Through, I basically said, there's nothing to fear other than what's already going to happen. Like, should we really fear death? We know it's going to happen. It's a waste of time to fear that. And when you start really sorting it out, well, most things that we could worry about or fear, they're going to happen anyway. So if you know for a fact something's going to happen, aren't we wasting our time worrying that it's going to happen? Or worrying about it? It's going to happen. So why worry about it? And I think, so again, like looking at this calendar year, I can go back to the beginning of the year, the song, Just Passing Through. And this is almost like a sequel or a follow-up. As I look through the 12 songs that I've released this year on YouTube, I also think of it as an album. If you were to buy, back in my day of buying a cassette tape or a CD, that album was a full collection of that artist. And what are we learning from this album? So for me, when I write these songs, I make sure that they all would fit together as an album. There's not too many fast songs or too many slow songs, and then they're not all about the same thing, but they may have an overall theme together. So there you go. Thanks for watching this video. I'd love to hear from you right here.